Welcome back to the Norse BenchWarmers podcast. I'm your host, Kolton Smith, here joined by producer Josh Northcutt, co-host Ben Miller, and director Garrett Jordan. And the Sea Dog Brewing, that's a nice little signet you got there on your shirt.
Yes, sir.
Fellas, how was our weekend? Oh, here we go. Oh, God.
Here's the question, Colton. Do we really want me to answer that truthfully? Because I don't think I do, so I'm just going to pass.
Outside of sports, how was your weekend?
Oh, no, the weekend was great. I had a great time with a friend all weekend and her little girl. So, it was a fun weekend. But, yeah, no. You know what? Go ahead.
All right. My weekend was good. I got to be at Truist Arena on Friday night, covering the Cedarville game. Got to sit up in the press box. I was the only one there from the media. And
you look so lonely.
I know.
There,
I was so lonely and sad. I don't have any friends. I'm just kidding. But yeah, overall that was fun. Got to interview Jeff Hans and Macy Blevins after the game, so that was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Sunday, pain. Absolute pain.
It's a good start to the sports weekend, huh?
Yeah.
It's fun while it lasts. Then you get to Sunday. There's no more NASCAR. There's a game on Sunday Night Football. Garrett, how was your weekend?
I'm gonna say it's not gonna get better for him.
Yeah.
Do you not know how Saturday went?
Yeah, no, I absolutely know how Saturday went. Yeah.
Friday was okay. Friday wasn't too bad. Got to work the game, and then from then on it was kind of just depression. Continuous and
hey, the Seahawks won.
Evolving. Hey, they did win on the last second.
That's the beauty of having 10 different teams. Is that one of them surely is going to win.
There's a silver lining there. There's a silver lining. Thank you.
My second team is the worst team in the NFL.
The Panthers?
The Jaguars.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right. Well, that's your fault for being a Trevor Lawrence Kool-Aid drinker. That's not that. We don't get there.
Travis Hunter.
Anywho, we all were at some NKU games. I was at all 3 NKU games this week, and it was a very fun but very busy weekend. But all of them were really great games. We can go ahead and start with volleyball, as they had their season finale. Unfortunately, they went into that game needing a 3-0 sweep. They got the first set. They were in it in the second set, but just couldn't get the job done. Kudos to the Norse for, still definitely giving it their all there throughout the game, but just coming up short in the end in overtime or fifth set. And it was sad to see the season come to a close, but this is a very young team. And they apparently have a really great freshman class coming in next year, so I'm excited to see what they do. It is sad to see Joy Banks' career, such a historic career, an outstanding player, just come to an end without at least a conference tournament appearance. But all in all, you don't have to look at it that way. Just look at what she had. She was a double machine, had another double in her final game. An outstanding career, though. Congrats, Joy.
Yeah, overall, though, it was great watching the NKU volleyball team this year, though. And like you mentioned, Joy Banks, though, she's been really fun to watch. And it's definitely disappointing that their season has come to an end with the IU Indy sweep. But the fact they don't have a chance to go to the Horizon League. It's definitely disappointing.
Shout out to Ali Sifke and Tori Houston as well. They are graduating, and they have put a lot into this program. Tori Houston's one of the best assist people in the Horizon League. It's insane her numbers she has, and Sifke's really great as well. Both of them have had outstanding careers at NKU. So again, sad to see they didn't get a conference tournament, but congratulations to them on a great career. And now we just turn on to next year. With Liz Hart, I have no doubt this team will bounce back better than ever, and excited to see how it all works out. But for now, let's go ahead and move along. Or do you have anything else you want to talk about volleyball?
I'm just looking forward to seeing what this new freshman class has in store for next year, though. I feel like they're all going to be great additions to that team.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and talk about women's basketball. We're letting the women go first. Ladies first. That's the rules. So they played against Cedarville last week, and that was their only game, correct? Unless they played one yesterday.
They actually played Toledo yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay, yeah. My bad. I didn't know if that was yesterday or today. So what happened in that game? I'll be honest, I didn't see that.
So I kept up with the stats a little bit, and NKU jumped out to a 14-point lead, though. And from the beginning, though, Macy Blevins and Hallie Idowu, they were putting up points for the Norse, keeping them in it. But, they just came up short, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the box score here, Macy Blevins 21, Hallie is it Hallie or Haley?
Hallie, I believe.
Okay, I thought I heard them. I was sitting there under the basket working camera for that game. I thought I heard them saying Hallie. So had 18, and the rest of the team put up a good effort, but Toledo just came back. And you said they outscored in the first quarter 19-15, 23-17 the second, but Toledo just came. And really the fourth quarter is going to be looked at as the difference of this game. 20 points from Toledo, 11 from Northern Kentucky. Excuse me, but this Toledo team was a top team in the MAC last year. They are definitely they are no slouch. So I remember Hans talking about it in the interview on the Beyond the Score. Like this opening schedule is a very tough schedule. So I have no doubt that they will be able to turn it around as they get into some, I don't know if they're easier opponents, but probably easier opponents. I mean. But that Cedarville game was a fun game to watch. I was working camera for that, so I was on in one quarter, off one quarter, and got to watch some of it. And yeah, I really like this team's flow. I think they definitely had a little bit of a struggle to start. Cedarville came out in a press and was playing. I think they're going to be one of the better Division II, the way some people were talking about it. Matt Sexton was talking about it. So that was definitely a tough start, but they didn't get worried. They didn't get flustered, and they ended up coming out on top in the end over Cedarville. But yeah, what did you see from that game?
I mean, overall though, I thought it was a really competitive, especially in the first quarter though. I mean, Cedarville, just being a D2 school though, they came in to Highland Heights and they gave the Norse an absolute challenge. They shot in the first quarter, they shot 61% from the floor compared to NKU's 38%. But overall though, Blevins, she played great though. She was able to get out in transition, finish around the rim, get to the free throw line, and especially what she does best, knocking down those 3-point shots. So yeah, overall though, it was a great game to watch.
Yeah, Macy Blevins has definitely kind of solidified herself as the leader. She can really score in any way. She can hit the three. She can score in the post, and she does a great job. And then you have Hallie, who is just a force down low, getting those boards and whatnot. So I think that that's a great 1-2 punch, and the surrounding pieces seem to be getting better each and every game. And it's going to be fun to watch this team. Any closing thoughts you have about them?
Yeah, just one more stat line I wanted to mention. So the Norse, they outlasted Cedarville in fast break points. Like I mentioned before, they were great in transition, especially with Blevins. They scored 17 points compared to Cedarville's 5 points in transition, though. And also with the scoring combo of Macy Blevins and Hallie Adoyu, I feel like so far they're showing that they're a dangerous scoring duo in the Horizon League. So overall, though, I'm just looking forward to seeing what these two players can do moving forward.
All right, well, let's move along to the men's basketball start. It's been a rough start, 0-3 to this point, but 2 Power 5 conferences about to play their 3rd Power 5 conference tomorrow against Cincinnati. I don't believe this will be out for the game, but if you have any inkling, go out, see the game. I'm sure it'll be a great time. But Florida State, Purdue to start the year, kept Florida State pretty close, kept Purdue close at points, and Purdue looks like a better team than I even thought as a Purdue fan, so that might be a better game than originally looked at. But then we play against Nichols, another mid-major team. No slouch, no doubt, though. They have the youngest coach in the NCAA, and he definitely puts together a pretty good program. They came out to an early, 19-point lead, was it?
I believe it was 35-14. So
35-14, that would be 19 or 21. 35-14 would be 21, right? I'm terrible at math.
Yeah,
Garrett,
I can't do math in my head.
I'll get out the old calculator, but they definitely then NKU came back. Trey Robinson looks like definitely the lead scorer here. And like I said with Macy Blevins a little bit ago, he can do it in the post. He can hit threes. He's very versatile. And 35 minus 14 equals 21 points. So I can actually do math in my head. I'm very proud of myself. But anyways, he led the way with 19 points. But we got to give a shout out to Josh Dilling, the transfer, who had 18 points, 4 for 10 from 3. I think he put up maybe a couple desperation threes kind of towards the end there, so that can kind of attribute. Still, 40% is a great shooting day, and he's a lefty, right?
I believe
Garrett,
he is.
do you remember
yeah.
he was like the lefty guy shooting, right? Or do you don't remember?
I don't remember now.
I swear he was the lefty. I'll know for sure next game because now I have that connotation in my head. But I'm pretty sure if he is, we had somebody on our team that was just
I do remember
hitting shots with the lefty.
I do remember Brady pointing out the lefty stroke.
I think it has to be him because it's not Hubie, and Hubie's the only other one that hit a three. So I think it has to be him. But yeah, Josh Dillon, that lefty is nasty. Love to see it. And this team got its way back into it. A rough first half. I do have to make mention of Sam Vincent, who just seems like he may be there may be a little bit more recovery yet to go. And that Neandria, I hope all is good. He just looks a little stiff out there, and as he should. When is the last time he's played? Last time he played would be about early December, late November.
Right. Yeah.
So of last year. So anybody's going to look stiff with that. He's got the knee brace on, so I can see why he's maybe not a little comfortable, but he's definitely going to be a key as he gets back into the Sam Vincent that we know as we get into conference play, get in the conference tournament. I mean, that's all that matters. We talk about it all the time here at NKU. It's 3 days in March, 3 days in the conference tournament, so that's really the big thing. So hopefully he's able to turn that around.
Yep.
Outside of that, it's going to be a tall task beating Cincinnati tomorrow.
Josh Dillon does look like he's left-handed.
Josh, you're still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. My bad. Josh Dillon does look to be left-handed, looking at his photos and stuff. So.
I was gonna say I could have swore it's him. It definitely wasn't.
I'll be honest, man. My brain is still in football. Not after last night, but my brain is still in football. So trying to get a schedule balanced out of watching enough basketball, watching enough football, everything else. It's just it's been football. But I didn't get to watch the game. That's why before the show started, I asked you guys, what happened? I didn't know Nicholls State was like that when you mentioned that, but talking about UC tomorrow night, not to go too far in depth into it because this might come out afterwards or beforehand or whatnot. But
things could age very poorly, very fast.
It could be a very rough game. This Bearcats team is very good, and they are handling every single team that they play. They've beat Pine Bluff 109-54, Morehead State 83-56, and they beat that same Nicholls team 86-49. UC's defense is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
This is traditional UC basketball that I grew up to love. They're hard-nosed. They just up and down the court. Jizzle and Simus are hitting shots. I don't know who is going to stop. I want to make sure I get his name right, and I'm going to pronounce it wrong, so I'm just going to call him by his nickname. Where is he? Hold on. Aziz Bedengo. I have no idea who on NKU is even going to be anywhere near him.
Size-wise?
Yeah,
nobody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you have
Keen and Tidre.
Yeah, you have a 7-foot man who just blocks shots. Like NKU's getting nothing inside.
Right.
It could be a very ugly game, and you also got to think like I don't think there's anybody from that team that lost to NKU. I feel like all those players are basically gone. But I'm pretty sure Wes was the coach, right? When that happened, so Wes is going to remember.
Oh yeah,
and that's going to have them. And that there is enough said. Wes is there. Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm gonna go back in my corner and quiet down here.
Hey, it's almost time for the winner's circle. What you got, Ben?
I mean, it's definitely concerning though having UC come over to the river to play us at Truist Arena. I mean, like Josh mentioned, their defense has been absolutely elite though, and especially with how we looked on offense, especially in the first half being down 21 though. I mean, in a way, we just look really sluggish though, and I feel like that defense that's going to be really tough to go against. So. And plus, with that 7-footer, what was his name again?
Aziz Bedengo.
Yeah,
shot blocking machine.
Yeah, shot blocking machine though, and I feel like he's definitely going to take advantage of scoring in the paint. So overall, though, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fun one to work on, and very big game.
I just hope we get the basket cam set up for that one because I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few dunks.
Yeah, I've heard Garrett say something about that every day, and I agree. I agree. It's a very pressing matter. We'll have to talk to Bill about that after the show. But yeah, so big game. That'll be on FanDuel Sports Network, FanDuel Ohio. I think there's usually a simulcast with ESPN Plus. I don't know if there is in this case, but I know in the past we have had a simulcast with ESPN Plus. So be sure to check that as well, because I know there's some confusion with FanDuel and all of that. But anywho, let's go ahead and get into our winner's circle. I'm going to go ahead and start off with Matt Painter, because he is getting Homer, I know, but he's getting a lot of praise this week of his acquisition of the freshman guards TJ Cox. Because guess what, guys? We would not have beaten Alabama, spoiler alert for the next segment, without that freshman. He hit an absolutely insane and one three-pointer to start a 3 possessions in a row, or at least 3 threes in a row from him, all of which were just pull up shades of Carson Edwards. Very excited to see what this freshman does as he progresses, but looks like for now he's going to be a great spark, maybe off the bench as a 6th man or whatnot. But shout out to Matt Painter for once again finding a 3-star prospect off with one Division I or major Division I at least offer on his board, finding him, bringing him in, and I mean it's pretty much the same with Carson Edwards. He was a 3-star. Who had no offers from Texas. I think he did have some major offers. So shout out to Matt Painter. No Zach Edey. We're just fine. Trey Kaufman-Wren, your dog.
Oh, I'm next. Sorry. My winner's circle, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills beating the Chiefs 30-21, and especially on that 4th and 2 to seal the game, Josh Allen scoring the game-winning touchdown.
Here
How about that?
To save the day.
But yeah, if anybody was able to knock off the Chiefs, it was going to be the Buffalo Bills. So
it's not January, it doesn't matter. Go ahead, Garrett.
All right. I'm gonna take us to a more biographical story and take us to the world of the PGA Tour. One Rafael Campos. So about a week ago, last Monday, his wife was induced into labor because he had missed 13 of his last 14 cuts and was in danger of losing his PGA Tour card. And yesterday, he completed the most unlikely victory and got his first PGA Tour victory. So within a week, he's a new father, and he has his first ever PGA Tour victory and is able to keep his PGA Tour card. So this guy is just living a dream right now, and I'm so happy for him. So Rafael Campos, congrats, man.
Yep, I'd say that's a pretty good week for him. What do you got, Josh?
For me, I'm going back to the NFL world, and I'm going to go with Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
Career day, 20 of 30, 272 yards and a touchdown, including another 2 rushing on 10 carries, 32 yards, to upset the New York Jets and the Jets and keep the Colts playoff hopes very much alive. This was the Anthony Richardson that the Colts thought they were going to get. What was that?
This is Anthony Richardson when he's not tired.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one that everybody thought they were going to get when they drafted him. Like, this is the guy who is going to make himself a top 10 quarterback in the NFL because of what he can do with his legs. And it wasn't big numbers or anything like that, but it was in crucial points where he ran it in. So shout out to him not tapping his helmet and walking off the field in a crucial situation, but sucking it up and going out there and leading a comeback victory. But also congrats to the Chargers for breaking the stereotype that they always blow late games and then coming back and beat the Bengals.
Yeah. All right. So shout out to I saw a tweet about AR that said, I think he just spins a wheel and chooses to be either Lamar Jackson or was it Josh Dobbs or it was Deshaun Kaiser. It was like it's either Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Kaiser.
Wow,
that's kind of accurate.
I mean, I'll give you Josh Dobbs, man. He was never bad. Deshaun Kaiser was bad. It was good to see. I want to see the kid be good. Like, I like these electric quarterbacks who are changing the league, and we got more coming up through college. So.
He's bigger than Lamar.
Yeah,
he's probably faster than Josh Allen, right?
Definitely.
That's insane. Let's just get the passing down.
The combination of size and speed was what excited me when I saw him get drafted. So I think he just needs a little bit more time to come into his own and get used to the NFL because he didn't have a full healthy season last year. So
he had 3 games.
I just think he needs a little bit more time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean he didn't even play a full season at Florida if I remember correctly. So they drafted him off his potential, and we're seeing it this week. But still a long way to go. So we'll see what happens.
Roller coaster ride as the season is. But let's go ahead and get into some college basketball. Not a lot to talk about except for Friday night, right?
I've got 9 games.
All right, take it away.
Well, no, you go ahead and start because
Okay.
you're going to go in your spiel. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go into my spiel about the Wisconsin-Arizona game. 103 Wisconsin, 88 Arizona.
Shout out Sam Decker, 10 years in the history moment right there. Yeah, shout out Sam Decker. 10 years, the 1 and 28 one, right?
Yeah, he sure was, wasn't he? All right, well, that's for Ben to stew over. But Wisconsin, Arizona. I did kind of talk about this game last week. Didn't really expect Wisconsin to just go out there and blow out Arizona by almost 20 points, but they definitely did that. So Arizona is a team that I have not had a chance to watch yet. I watched obviously this game, but I hadn't had a chance going in here, so I didn't really know what to expect. The Wildcats though they just don't have the offense, of course, but they don't have the defense. They're like the inverse of Houston, where they have great defense, but the offense is struggling. So you just when you have that, you always leave the door open for games like this, and that's exactly what happened here. The Badgers, whenever they release the AP poll, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's out now that it's 1 o'clock, but the Badgers probably are going to be ranked and had a pretty good game. Let me know if a name sounds familiar to you. Is that who I think it is? That is Trey Townsend on Arizona. I did not see that.
I was like, why did that name sound so familiar?
Yeah.
That's an Oakland player.
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't even notice
that's
that when I
right.
played the game. I didn't even, or when I played the game, when I was watching the game, he had 17 points.
I
for
must say,
Arizona.
no. When I looked at it, I was like, I know that name. Why do I know that
Yeah.
name? That
Yeah, it
explains
did.
why I know that name.
Yeah, it did sound familiar though.
That's interesting that he ended up over there. I thought he was a senior that year. Okay, so he's playing for Arizona. How do you watch the game and he had 17 points too? I think I must have noticed it and then I just never thought anything about it. But did you guys see anything from this game?
John Tanji is
a solid player, huh?
Stud.
Yeah.
Absolute stud.
Absolutely.
41 points, 6 rebounds and assists, 21 to 22 from the line. That is impressive. You don't see that in the college game.
Yeah, James Harden would be very impressed with that free throw work.
And then meanwhile, Caleb Love continues to struggle. It wasn't just last year in March. It's now carrying into this season. He's only scored over 10 points. They've played 3 games, but he's only scored 10 and 6 in 2 of those. 2 of 13 from the field, 0 of 6 from threes. I don't know what's going on with him and RJ Davis, but I don't love to see that. Yes, I will always find a way to talk Hard Heels basketball as well.
I was like, RJ's not on that team. And I realized you're tying it
But
in.
I mean, we talked about it too. Yeah, tied in. It's just, but yeah, very disappointing from Love. But John Tanji, and you got to think a little bit of the momentum came from that historic Wisconsin team being in the arena because they celebrated 10 years since upsetting Kentucky. So yeah, it was one of those things.
Cats.
Another game. If you don't have anything on that, I'm gonna go talk about. Texas A&M handled Ohio State 78-64. 4 players in double figures for Texas A&M. We were talking about how great Ohio State could be, and then they go out and kind of lay this egg versus Texas A&M. But the buzzsaw was out that night.
Yes.
He needed that one after that UCF upset.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I didn't see much of this game. I was more focused on the Arizona-Wisconsin game. I was also watching a replay of the Alabama-Purdue game because I happened to not have any spoilers. I was able to come back and to watch that.
Garrett warned me not to spoil it for you, so you can thank Garrett.
I was thinking I was going to get the Josh text, so I wasn't even looking at my phone after that.
The second I got home, I did text him and I told him not to tell you anything.
Garrett, you are my guardian angel. Thank
Maybe
you so much.
sometimes.
Thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, Ohio State, still a young coach, still unproven, but they definitely had a good opening day. But they did not go 2-0 in Texas. Texas A&M handled them, and like you said, bouncing back from that UCF. I always like in college basketball, losing is not as a big deal as it is in college football, and I think losses help make a team better. I prefer a 25-5 team as opposed to a 30-0 team, because that 25-5 team has been in the downs of the season. That 30-0 team has not. But that's a completely off-topic thing. Let's talk about Purdue, because they have yet to lose. They have quite the schedule to still lose, but a great, outstanding game against Alabama, winning 87-78. The thing with Alabama is the same thing as I said with Arizona. They are not that good defensively. They are a great offense, absolutely, but defensively they struggle, and that is going to leave the door open anytime, especially when you're on the road in Mackey Arena, I'll admit, the second loudest arena in the country behind that place in Lawrence, Kansas, and everyone else's mine. We're number one, but whatever. Big game, and like I mentioned earlier with Matt Painter, finding CJ Cox to be go from a 3-star to literally we're down like 7 or so, or it's 5 or so, hitting 3 threes in a row, big threes, big time shots, and really bringing us back in this game. I also gave a shout out to Trey Kaufman-Wren. Quite literally after the game, Nate Oates said, did not realize he was that good. Maybe you should have done a little more research. But I'll be honest, I didn't realize he was a 26-8 guy as well. So I don't blame him for that. Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, I got to give a shout out. I'm always very down on Fletcher Lawyer. So far this year, he has been exactly what we've needed. 17 points, being that consistent scorer, hitting threes, getting to the bucket, getting free throws. So shout out to him. Braden Smith, I said 17 points. He also had 10 assists and 6 rebounds. He is a double-double machine. He may end his career. He's just a junior. He may end his career with the most double-doubles in program history. He's getting right there. He'll be up there with Zach Edey, so fun to watch. But I'm very excited about this team. They're not that throw it into Zach Edey. Will Berg might be out of the rotation. And defense almost looked better when he was off the floor, and that's really what he's out there, is to be that big guy in the paint. So if the defense looks better at that I'm on the floor, I'm not really sure what he's contributing. One last thing I want to shout out is Miles Colvin did not have any points, but he locked up Mark Sears. 15 points is still a solid day in college basketball for Mark Sears. Had a bunch of great opportunities, but he had a lot of great defense from Miles Colvin. So shout out to that glue guy. And I'm done with my spiel. You guys may talk now.
I'm gonna say the Purdue hour's over with. Ben, do you have any thoughts on that, or do you want to talk about another game?
I got a quick comment. Overall though, I thought it was a good game, but I feel like Alabama's defense, they've definitely been struggling. I mean, it was a slow start for Mark Sears. For
the whole team, they were like 1 for 9, I think, in the first half.
I was gonna say they were
from 3.
Yeah, 3-point shooting, it continues to be a problem. Not as strong as they were last year though. But Mark Sears, he was having a hard time scoring, especially in the first half.
That's my boy Miles for you.
Yep. But overall though, what a huge win for Purdue. For Alabama to go into Mackey Arena and for them to get that win though, that home crowd definitely electrified them and getting that huge win. So overall, what a great performance.
All right. Any other things you want to talk about?
The Wisconsin game the Arizona-Wisconsin game that we talked about earlier, John Tanji, did I say that right? Okay. Overall though, what a great performance. Like we talked about, 41 points. He can really shoot the three really well. And the fact that he was able to get to the line and draw the fouls and knock down those free throws, that's absolutely unreal. But overall though, this guy, he's going to be great to watch. Last year, though, when he was with Missouri, he averaged 23.5 points per game, shot 47% from 3, and 95% shooting free throws. So this guy, he can really shoot the ball really well. So, and he's a great offensive addition to this Badgers offense.
Absolutely. Also on Friday night, just for 2 quicks, Florida ignored the off-court issues to beat Florida State 87-74, and Marquette survived Maryland 78-74. Marquette's got a big matchup later this week that I'm sure Kolton's looking forward to as well. Mm-hmm. Saturday, though, I have to mention, Duke holds Wofford to 35 points in a bounce-back win, 86-35, 51-14 lead at half. Flag 8, 9, 6, and 2, just filling up the stat sheet with only 28 minutes of play. XU is now 4-0 after a 75-60 win over Wake in the Skip Prosser Classic. And the game that I mentioned last week that I was most looking forward to, Rick beats Richard 85-71 in the Patino battle. Not sure if you saw the fans were cheering, yep. Who's your daddy? And Patino's like, hey, come on, yeah. let's chill. That's my son, literally. So it was kind of an all right matchup. I did kind of watch a little bit of that. It was also on. So that was just some notable games that I saw throughout the weekend that I want to mention.
I had Indiana playing against South Carolina, their first test of the year. South Carolina is definitely not the team they were last year. However, Indiana beating them 87-71. just scoring 87 points against a Power 5 school is insane to me for Indiana, a team that really struggled with offense last year without Trace Jackson Davis. So I kind of predicted this team might be the most talented team. I don't know if I said that, but I definitely have thought that in recent weeks. It might be the most talented team in the Big Ten. Now, being the best team and most talented team are two different things. It takes execution, but I think it's definitely a very well executed first big game for them against South Carolina. I'm interested to see how they progress throughout the year, because I think we may be looking at a Big Ten that is between Purdue, Indiana, and obviously other teams, but those two might be 1 and 2 right there. So making the rivalry game, the two rivalry games, even bigger.
Breaking news that I can't hit an alarm because I don't have the music over here, but the AP poll has finally been released. I don't know
about damn time.
Yeah, I can give you a quick rundown of it.
Yes, please.
So far, we have Kansas staying at number 1. UConn goes up a spot. 2, Gonzaga. 3, Auburn. 4, Iowa State. 5. The one that you want to know most about, jumping all the way up to number 6, 7 spots, Purdue. Houston is to 7. Alabama falls 8 spots. 6 spots to go to number 8. Kentucky moves up to number 9, jumping 10 spots. Wow, kittens. And
Cats.
number 10 is North Carolina. Duke falls all the way to 12. Baylor down to 13. Arizona down to 17. Bearcats, despite all those impressive wins that I talked about, still fell a spot down to 18. Arkansas fell 2 spots down to 20. And Florida fell 1 spot down to 21.
Florida State?
Yeah. No other real teams have moved up or down. Those were just the notable ones. But yeah, like I said, Kansas remains 1. UConn, Gonzaga, Auburn, Iowa State are your top 5. Are your top 5.
And your top 6.
Yeah. And Kansas, UConn, Gonzaga, Auburn all receiving first place votes, which I would agree with those 4 teams.
Yep, absolutely. So that's kind of looking back at last week. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about last week?
Nah, I got nothing for last week.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I got one more. So overall, though, I'm just impressed with St. John's and how Rick Pitino is leading that program. Though, I mean, it's not really often though we see St. John's being a really good contender in the Big East, though. But I think
you weren't alive for the last time. That is a historically good program.
I may not have been around, but they definitely had their heyday.
Yeah, but overall, though, I'm just impressed with what Rick Pitino's been doing over there. And like I mentioned before, they're definitely a threat to win the Big East this year. So overall, though, just looking forward to seeing what they can do moving forward.
They got a big game this week coming up. They're playing against Baylor. I believe that is on a Friday. Thursday, my bad.
Yep.
Thursday, Friday, same day, basically. Yep. But they play against each other. It's a big ranked matchup. It's going to be interesting. That is probably the first measuring stick game for that St. John's team to this point.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Obviously, Baylor still wants to go out there and prove some things. It's down in the Bahamas, so it's on a neutral court.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how that goes down. The game I want to mention, though, in your thoughts, Purdue and Marquette on Tuesday.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about this Marquette team.
So another game you can't watch.
It's at 9.
Okay.
So I could do the thing. It's on Fox Sports, so it'll be recorded on YouTube TV. So God pray, no spoilers. There's no way I make it 2 games in a row without spoilers. But I can maybe sneak in there, catch up without skipping over the breaks. It's actually the best experience ever, is just being able to skip over breaks. Like if I could do this every game, I so would. But
I'll do my best, Kolton.
Thank you, please. My guardian angel saved me. But yeah, I have a feeling someone's just going to blurt it out like over the lines or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this team could do. Will they be overzealous? There has been times where they'll get this big win and then turn around and drop a dud. That's typically in Big Ten play, though. We're usually pretty good in the non-conference, and we usually play Marquette really good regardless of the team. Shaka Smart, Matt Painter, it's always a good chess match. But yeah, I'm interested to see. I don't really have any predictions because this team went into Alabama with the rebounding as a weakness, and their defense absolutely as a weakness. And those were probably their 2 biggest reasons as to why they won, was the rebounding game. Or I wouldn't say rebounding was their biggest win, but it definitely was on a weakness for sure. So we just have to see what team shows up, and hopefully it's a good one, and we get that win over Marquette, and then the schedule evens out a little bit.
And you mentioned that your defense is pretty well, so you should be able to contain Cam Jones.
That's the thing. I wouldn't say, if you look at the games leading up to that, I don't think their defense was that good.
Okay.
They definitely had a pretty good defensive game, at least in terms of slowing down stars. against Alabama, but it's not something that has been throughout the first 3 games. Like Yale was only like a 10 points back, and they were within 5 throughout the second half. So,
and then you had another game you wanted to mention.
yeah, I got plenty of games down here.
So do I.
One that's going on tonight. It'll already be done, but I think is a very interesting one that I'm excited to see is Gonzaga versus San Diego State. Another one is Illinois versus Alabama. It's a little underrated one. Bama going up against another Big Ten team. It's a different style of play that Bama's not used to, and it could pose some problems, but I think they'll be fine. This Illinois team isn't exactly what we expected. The other ones I got, Nebraska and Creighton, always a good rivalry. Duke and Arizona, that's the big one that I'm sure these guys are going to want to talk about here in a second. And my last one is Auburn and Iowa State, so I'll let you guys take it away.
Yeah, one game that I'm looking forward to watching is Baylor versus St. John's, like we mentioned earlier. I feel like I mentioned before, Rick Pitino's done an outstanding job leading this team, ranked 22nd in the country, though. But this is going to be their biggest test, though, because Baylor, I feel like they're a much completely different team since they got blown out by Gonzaga, though. They're a team that can really play well offensively. And moving on to my next game, I'm looking forward to seeing Duke hosting. Or no, they're not hosting.
I
though.
think
I think
Arizona's hosting Duke.
Yeah. So I feel like this is going to be another tough test for Duke. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they're going to bounce back after that defeat to Kentucky and Atlanta. Go Cats and Cats.
Kittens.
Okay. All right. Whatever. But overall though, this is going to be a really good matchup though. So looking forward to it.
Well, Caleb Love is a Duke killer, so I'm not worried about Arizona bouncing back in that one. The one game I want to mention though, Wisconsin and UCF played Friday
like
in West Virginia. They have the 2 biggest upsets to start the year, right?
Yep.
Like you would argue. I know Purdue counts as an upset, but those were 2 non-ranked. Yeah, those 2 non-ranked teams became ranked because of their win. So that Wisconsin UCF game is a very sneaky one. Oregon.
Interesting they got each other on the schedule. Seems like a random scheduled game.
No kidding. Especially in West Virginia. It's in the middle of West Virginia.
You gotta love early season college basketball. I thought that about the Texas Ohio State game. Why are we in Las Vegas? But sorry.
And then Syracuse at Texas is another one I believe that's happened Thursday that I'm looking forward to. Just because it's 2 teams that are trying to find their footing, trying to find out what team they are, and then also Syracuse had a big week getting Melo. I'm just going to say Melo Jr. I know it's not his real name, but Melo Jr. To commit. So Syracuse riding a high of, we're going to have another Melo on the court next year. Well, you got a team that could do something this year. Go down to Texas and beat Texas. And then Oregon State. I'm glad that they're playing each other in basketball as well. That was awesome to see. And then as you mentioned, Nebraska Creighton. I don't know why, but I just this Creighton team. I'm loving watching it. By the way, he only missed another 2 shots this week.
What?
Of course,
he's up to 5 shots missed this season in like 5 games. He's missing 1 shot.
Is he
Carl Brenner is unbelievable. He's got to be the player of the year right now.
I was going to say, is he your player of the year?
He has to be easily.
So far, I would agree.
I would agree too. Yeah.
So some interesting little out of conference but in-state rivalries coming up this week. I'm very excited to see the Auburn Iowa State game. It would be my first chance to see Iowa State this year, so that's one of my favorite teams to watch. But don't sleep on Nebraska. They got Fred Hoiberg as their coach, so it's an in-state rivalry. Anything can happen. But now it is time for our triple threat trivia. So Garrett, take it away.
Yes, gentlemen. As much as I've enjoyed your talk about basketball, I am taking this back to football.
Sounded sarcastic.
Maybe a little bit, but I've been really impressed with some of these young quarterbacks in the NFL coming in. I mean, we see Ben Miller out at Denver. We got Michael Penix came in. Penix came in for a little spot start. Michael Penix came in for a little spot start for a reeling Kirk Cousins. Didn't look too awful. We've all know what Jaden Daniels is doing out at Washington. So my question for you 3 is, who is the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay, that was pretty quick.
Yeah, I knew. Unfortunately, I knew that one.
You knew that one right off the rip, huh?
How old was he?
If you can name it by the day, I'll give you extra credit.
Yeah, I can't go that far, but I instantly knew it was Big Ben because he rode the coattails of Willie Parker and that defense and Jerome Bettis retiring in Detroit. They had the most penalties ever in that Super Bowl on Seattle. It was the most fixed thing I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, it was easily Big Ben. Colton trying to process everything.
I didn't even get a chance to finish the question.
My brain literally went early 2000s Steelers. I hear him go Ben Roethlisberger. I wasn't even around. I was like 2.
What's the best part about all that is like that team should never won the Super Bowl. But yeah.
Okay. So he can say that about that. But
I want to say
anything
that
about Joey Logano winning the championship.
Yeah, well, but yeah, that man. But no, it's honestly some crazy stat. If you go back and watch that game, during the year, the Seahawks were the least penalized team in the NFL. In that game, they magically became the most penalized team in Super Bowl history. Dude, there was flags on anything that Seattle did. It was disgusting.
Who was on that Seattle team?
Sean Alexander, Matt Hasselbeck. There was a wide receiver. Oh my god, I can't think of his name. I can see his face.
It's like Tracy or
there was a good wide receiver also that I just can't think of.
I kind of have the picture of him too, even though I wasn't around.
But Alexander was the
like the
team.
jersey. It was like numbers. Whatever. We'll figure it out later on. But all right, thank you, Garrett, for giving Josh some free points.
I didn't know he would have that right off the rip.
I'm gonna say, Garrett,
AFC North, Ben Roethlisberger. You didn't think Josh has that in the back of his mind?
Not only that, when he started talking young quarterbacks, I instantly knew where he was going, and I was like, it's Big Ben.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I didn't have that process of where is he going.
I forgot Josh is 10 years older than us.
Not only, that's fine. But not only that, but that's me inside your brain again when talking football. It happens way too often. You hit these trivia questions, and I just get them right away. And I wasn't going to give them a chance because that was too much of a layup.
So we ban NFL from the pod.
Disagree. But I do want to mention real fast, just as a lead way. Dude, these young quarterbacks are amazing in the NFL right now.
Definitely.
This rookie class might be historically good once Penix gets spot. And then there's people out there who thought J.J. McCarthy was the best quarterback in this draft class. And we haven't seen J.J. yet.
And the door's definitely open for him to swoop in now with Sam Darnold struggling.
Yeah, Darnold's out the door. They're going to let him walk.
Yeah.
You won't pay him again. You don't take J.J. and sit him. But yeah,
it was a fun 5 weeks, Sam.
It was. He's back to seeing
weeks.
ghosts.
Oh, I mean, I got it.
So, but let's go back to the NBA.
Yeah, back to the NBA. We'll have our own dang show for this, all right. But yeah, Ben Miller's looking really good out there in Denver. I gotta say, like that dude might be
NBA.
Second in the okay, right. That's you wanted to talk about NBA. That's rich.
I'm just trying to get you back on path. All right.
All right.
Trust me, I'll talk football, but you don't like what I'm going to be saying.
Oh yeah, that's actually a great point. Glad we moved those to Wednesday this week. So for fantasy, I'm pulling up the fantasy scoreboard, but we can also run down the standings here. In the Eastern Conference, you have the Cavs at the top. 15-0. We'll definitely be talking about them in a minute. The Celtics are 11-3. They actually play each other on Tuesday. Another game that I will be missing, thanks to the other outstanding game that I'll be working in the KU and UC. The Magic 8-6. Okay, so we actually have some teams above 500 now, up to 4 from 3 last week. The Knicks are 7-6 in 4th, but in 5th place, fellas, the Detroit Pistons,
who
are 7.
Who would have thought we would be talking about the Detroit Pistons at this time of the year be 5th in the Eastern Conference standings?
It's early. They'll end up back in the play-in or what have you. But regardless,
will they? Cade Cunningham might have something to say about that.
And Jaden Ivey's look great too.
Yeah, but Cade's becoming a triple-double machine, man. He's on 4.
Yeah,
4 this year.
Yeah.
Dude, he's unbelievable. And I was high on him. I think I even drafted him. I don't remember because I haven't looked at my team in a month. But what Cade Cunningham and that young core is doing there has been very impressive to start. I mean, they're better than your Pacers right now.
Yeah, they sure are. But who has the one on the? Oh yeah, that's right, the Pacers. Anywho, the Pacers sit there in 6th place at 6-7. Don't even get me started on this team. The Atlanta Hawks sit there in 7th at 6-8, and it pretty much everyone's like got 5 or 4 wins here. So I'll just list them off: Heat, Hornets, Nets round out your play-in teams. The Bulls, Bucks sit at 4-9 and 12th. The Wizards sit at 2-10, and their running mate are the Philadelphia 76ers at 2-10. The only team worse is the Raptors because they played 2 more games and they are 2-12. So very ugly looks without. I think Maxi's even been out recently. Like Jared McCain has been the only shining spot for that team.
I'm about to say, I don't know if you've seen. It's not only a shining spot. Like not the go into gambling because we don't go
would never.
gambling here. His rookie of the year's votes have skyrocketed. He went from like 55 to like 35 to now he's like the second or third favorite.
Wow.
Because he is literally the 76ers right now until Maxey and Embiid get back. At this point, do you let him back? Screw it, tank. Try to get Cooper Flag.
Oh my god!
I mean, what?
A starting lineup of Tyrese Maxey. Who would be your two? Jared McCain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
McCain at the 2,
Paul George at the 3.
Flag at the 4, and Embiid at the 5.
Oh,
No,
man.
Win, bring him back, please. I don't need that.
I mean, at this point, I'd go full tank mode.
But the thing is, they would just find a way to mess that up somehow because they're the Sixers.
That's also true.
True.
So,
Yeah.
But then I'll go through the East or West, and then let's talk about what we're seeing here. I'm just going to go through this quickly. We got the Warriors with 10 wins, the Thunder 11-3, the Rockets with 10, the Lakers with 9, the Suns with 9, Nuggets 7, Timberwolves have 8. All these three are 8-6. The Timberwolves, Grizzlies, Kings, the Mavericks are 7-7, the Clippers are 7-7. So you have to go all the way to 12th for your first below 500 team, and that is the San Antonio Spurs at 6-8. The Blazers are 6-8. Pelicans are 4-10, and the Jazz are 3-10. So
The real destination for Cooper Flag.
yeah, probably the real destination for Cooper Flag, the Utah Jazz, joining his Duke alumni, Kyle Filipowski. Wonder how he's doing over there with the Mormons. Anywho, where do we want to start, fellas?
You got the.
Fantasy. So our fantasy update, we did a fantasy draft. It seems like nobody cares now except for me, and I'm the one that's 1-3. So currently in the Norse division, the top team is Ben's best team at 3-1. Have you made any adjustments to your team?
No, I have not, actually.
Then we have my buddy Jimmy. He is 3-1 as well. I think he just got his first loss of the season this week. We have On Jaw at 2-2, just a game back there. And then me, the Fighting Spider Ants, 1-3, finally getting our first win of the season against Alex this week. Then you have Read a Book, Logan's team at 0-4. Luke May's Shot, also 0-4. Sir, this is a Wimby's, Andy's team, 4-0. Malik Monk Shot Better, Jameson's team, 4-0. Toon Squad, Peyton Cox's team, 4-0. Alex's team, Alex's Avengers, 2-2. And the Murray Up offense, 1-3. And then Dunk Dynasty, Nick's team is 0-4. So, for reference, fellas, I have played an undefeated team except all three, like all those 4-0 teams I listed, except for Malik Monk's, I have played in this start, and I've gotten blown out. But now that we're playing some teams a little bit more on my level, I've gotten some nice waiver wire pickups. I think I'm so back, and I'm going to knock off Ben's best team this week.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I actually, checked my lineup this morning. So
Good job.
I moved Triple J into my starting lineup. So
Good job. I'm proud of you. I think I find it funny that's like what a 10 person league. I have a 16 person league that I did, and that team is outscoring this team every week, even this week too. But that's besides the point. Good job. Good start to all your fantasy. Garrett, 2-2. You're above me. I'm the basketball expert apparently. So
I stopped caring once Ja went out.
that's fair. It's sad to see him go on the D Rose trajectory. But
I'm gonna say, how
We
long
were
is
talking
he
about that
out?
last night.
I believe it's about a month at least until they reevaluate.
Man.
If I'm remembering that, there's so many injuries, it's really hard to keep track of.
He
what
really
is
is.
what,
He
but-
is really going to be this generation's D Rose, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
much.
that's definitely a shame.
without the MVP, but he definitely had a year he could have. But so let's talk about our surprises, our disappointments. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the 15-0 Cleveland Cavaliers. Can't say I didn't say that they would be a top 3 team in the East because Kenny Atkinson is that guy. He has transformed this offense, and they're just winning as they should. So what do you guys think about this team?
Yeah, I mean, overall, though, they're a really fun team to watch, though. I mean, when you got Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, all these guys that can really score. Yeah, they're definitely forming that chemistry, though, and I feel like they're definitely proving a lot of people wrong under the new leadership of what's that coach's name again?
Kenny Atkinson.
Kenny Atkinson, yeah.
Kenny.
Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All good.
But yeah, overall, though, this team, they're really fun to watch, though, and I feel like they're going to continue the momentum for sure.
They're only the 4th team, I believe, in NBA history to start 15-0. I thought I saw that stat today.
Sounds like it was
I don't know. I still don't put too much into it because it would be one of those things. I'd love to know how many teams they played in the West compared to how many teams they played in the East. I believe they just beat the Celtics? I know you said they play.
They play the Celtics. I don't know if
I thought they beat the Celtics as well. As I saw.
I'm looking at their schedule here. It looks like they have their notable wins are against the Knicks, Lakers, Magic, Warriors by 20. And then that's it. They have had a very easy schedule, and their first game against the Celtics is tomorrow for their in-season tournament. Okay. So their first big test is tomorrow, and they'll probably lose, but who knows?
That's the thing. I don't know if I would want a 15-0 start because eventually those losses will catch up to you. They usually always do. But again, maybe it is a team because they've got plenty of talent. As you said, maybe it took them long enough just to gel, and now that they're gelling, maybe they are a bigger threat than we thought.
Sometimes all it takes is maybe you win in this season, not being that team that you're seeing right now, but just winning those games, getting those wins is sometimes all it takes to become that team.
And it was one of those things last year they were talked very highly about. They made some moves and everything else, and everybody was like, okay, no, the Cavs are going to be serious contenders of the East. And this year they kind of came under the radar. It was who's the third best team in the East? Is it the Cavs? Is it the Magic? I mean, what if they are the best team?
Is it the Pacers?
No, okay, we're not going that far. But, yeah, so
I'm the only one having that conversation.
It will be interesting to see what happens for them, and we check back in 15 games and see if they still look like this.
See if they're 30-0 or.
No, I mean I'm not going that far, but if they're even if they're say they only lose like 5 games or 6 games over the next 15 game stretch, then it's like okay, this team is a legit contender for the East. But say they come out and they go maybe 500 and they lose the game to the Celtics, or if they play the Knicks, they lose against the Knicks, and they start losing to these elite teams. That's where we'll see. But 15 of those, 15-0. Yeah, I'm not going to be an SEC fan and complain about strength of schedule. You beat the teams that you play on the field, and you beat them well, and they've done that. So,
yeah. I mean, like I mentioned before, though, this Cavs team, they're really fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing their matchup against the Celtics tomorrow. Though, like we talked about, that's definitely going to be their biggest challenge, and see if they can try to keep their undefeated season alive. So looking forward to it. But going up against that Celtic defense, though, that's going to be really tough for sure.
Yeah, Celtic defense and just everything. That team looks invincible. I mean, they have lost a couple games, but you kind of just have to score more points than them. And by that, I mean have a better offense, have a better offensive night than you maybe are used to. But, yeah, this team's fun. And I love that Donovan Mitchell is finally kind of getting back to what we saw from him in Utah, where he can absolutely be an All-NBA MVP candidate player. So we'll see how that all turns out. And he's just clutch as hell. I've seen at least 2 shots this year, just absolute daggers. Shout out Ty Jerome though. As I look at the stats here, a guy on the team that made me maybe cry to sleep at Virginia. 10 points per game. Just being in the NBA, it's just shocking me. I did not realize he was playing for this team. Shout out to him for making it work. But there's other teams. There's disappointing teams.
Yeah, but I want to talk about one more surprise, if that's okay.
Go right ahead.
The leader of the West. I mean, the Golden State Warriors are the best team in the West. They're 10-2. Curry's only played 9 games, so he's obviously probably getting those rest days in and everything else. But it's been a team effort. Like you joked about Hield being the other splash butter, but he's second with 17 points. So it's one of those crazy things.
I will say, as a Pacers fan, I've watched this guy come out to look great in the first month, and then all of a sudden, what happened to him? But go right ahead.
But yeah, overall though, the Warriors though, they're definitely shocking a lot of people. I mean, coming into the season though, Buddy Hield, I knew that he was going to fit in really well with Steph Curry though on the court, getting those 3-point shots up. And overall though, coming into the season, we thought the Warriors were going to be a play-in team though, but they're definitely, like I mentioned before, they're proving a lot of people wrong. And Curry, he's mentioned it a couple times though how much he loves this group, but they can really score. They can shoot the 3. They have great ball movement. So overall though, this team is really fun to watch in the West for sure.
Yeah, I mean they're firing all cylinders right now, and even with some role players not having their best games, I think of Podemski and Trace Jackson Davis, and Kuminga has struggled with Curry on the floor. So it's scary. Yeah, we might be finding ourselves back in another era, but It's early in the season. Don't overreact. I do think the best team in the West. Yes, they're number 1, but I think the Thunder are probably the best team in the West.
No, I get that. But the record technically right now.
Yeah, I got you. But
what about your disappointing team? Because I've got 2 that comes to mind, but I'll let you go first.
All right, definitely the most disappointing team, and I won't even mention the Sixers and Bucks because the Sixers have injury issues. The Bucks are I kind of expect them to be bad. I'm looking down at the Pelicans at 4-10, and when I heard about Zion being that center, I was kind of worried that this was going to happen. So I can't say I am 100% shocked, but looking at that 4-10 record, this team does not look great. I haven't watched really a game since they played against the Pacers. It's just kind of dysfunctional. I don't really have an explanation for it. They're just not winning games, and it just doesn't look pretty.
I can give you the explanation. Zion's only played 6 games. CJ's only played 4.
Okay. So
Murray's only played 1. It's injuries piled up on this team very quickly.
I kind of forgot Murray was supposed to be on the team because he got hurt game 1.
Yeah, no, injuries have piled up. It's basically Brandon Ingram, who has been the rumor that they're going to trade, is literally their team right now.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that I mentioned. And that was the team I was going to mention because, like you mentioned, the Sixers and the Bucks are too much of an obvious layup. Why Doc Rivers hasn't been fired yet is still beyond me.
Why he was hired in the first place is beyond me
That's
well.
also as well. Ben, do you got another team that you think is disappointing?
Yeah, I want to go back to the Pelicans real quick, though. I mean, when Zion Williamson got hurt, though, like you mentioned before, how he was going to be the center, I was a little concerned with that because, based on his history, though, he's having a hard time staying healthy, though. But it's just really disappointing to see that the Pelicans, they're dealing with all sorts of injuries to their players. And I had a little bit of high expectations for them, though. Like, they were going to try to be a playoff team. But as of right now, they're not really showing it, though. But hopefully in the future, though, they can try to stay healthy. But we'll see what happens.
And the thing about it is we mentioned that majority of the teams in the West have a winning record. So now they find themselves way behind the 8 ball. And I don't like the looks. I think that they are weeks away from their season just being over.
So when the NBA does the expansion, what is your thoughts on doing away with conferences? Because this is absurd. Like the East is bad. The West is I mean, right now we leave technically, I'm gonna still say 8. 4 teams above 500 right now would be out of the playoffs, but they'd be 3 seed in the East. Like, do you see them doing away with conferences, or do you see some kind of realignment happening, which I know is what they definitely lean towards because they want to get Memphis back into the East or some stuff like that?
I don't think they've ever been in the East, but into the East. I think it's definitely a very, very interesting thing, and you just never know with Adam Silver and the NBA what they're going to do next. I'm not necessarily chanting in the streets for it, but if they did it, I'd kind of just be indifferent. So shout out to that freaking alarm for breaking my head. All right, 2-minute warning time.
Yes. So first question. Who would be your all NASCAR team? We limited it to 4 drivers. I went Christopher Bell. He's your true Cup Series champion. Kyle Larson. He had the most wins on the season. Michael McDowell. He had the most poles in the season. And Joey Logano because he won the championship, Kolton. My honorable mention was William Byron.
For myself,
Michael McDowell?
Polls matter in my world. Polls matter in my world.
Polls matter.
Polls matter in my world. They matter in my world.
They matter. Yeah. Qualifying's always key to races.
Oh my god!
I was having a little fun with this. I wanted to see your reaction.
That's hilarious.
For myself, I'm going with Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and my honorable mention, William Byron.
Yeah, I got Kyle Larson, William Byron, Tyler Reddick, and I was trying to think of a Ford to add. It could have been Ryan Blaney, but honestly, I just don't know if he earned it, so I went ahead and gave it to that of Denny Hamlin. But no, Joey Logano, this All-NBA team is not a postseason award. It is a season award, so that makes you even more invalid in your list. But okay.
That's also very fair. I probably should have paid attention to the rules. Anyway, so we want to talk a lot about the NFL later this week. However, what is your Super Bowl matchup as of right now, Kolton?
Right now, looking at it, it's got to be the Lions and Chiefs. They've been the 2 best. Well, I don't know if the Chiefs have necessarily been the best team, but they're the Chiefs, so they'll find a way in there. And Lions have definitely been the best team in the NFL so far.
Yeah, I'm going with Lions. Obviously, they've been the best team. And for my AFC team, the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, okay, no way.
We can pray.
Yeah, well,
that would feed families.
Pennsylvania showdown. Give me Eagles, Steelers. And last but not least, what matchup are you most looking forward to in college basketball this week, Ben?
For myself, I'm going with Duke and Arizona, though. Top 10 matchup. Cannot wait to see it.
I'll be a homer. NKU, UC. Excited to see the crowd fill up. Hopefully, have a good crowd, and maybe get a Norse win. Maybe.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Always hope.
We are the Norse BenchWarmers.
Yeah.
Maybe put me on coach.
For me, it's the game we talked about earlier. This Wisconsin UCF game. It just intrigues me. I just want to see how both those teams play. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm surprised that Duke and Arizona didn't get picked for that one. That's going to be a big game. If I were to give a real one, it'd probably be Baylor and Auburn. But I'm excited for both. So let's go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. We're looking to get to 50 subscribers. Once we hit 50, we plan on giving away a $50 Fanatics gift card. So smash that subscribe button right now. Follow us on Twitter at or X, whatever you want to call it, at NorseBW and check us out on Apple and Spotify podcast. If you're wanting to listen to us, but you aren't able to watch it on YouTube, listen to it in the car, whatever, what have you, working out. And thank you, Bill, Garrett, all the co-hosts, and Community Services for all that you do, making this show better each and every week, fellas. We're winding down on the semester here, so you guys get to. Good luck. That's all I have to say. And we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.